Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful story about resilience, about what it actually means to build a home from the ground up. We're looking at a single moving day for one family in early 20th century Brooklyn. And believe me, this one day tells you everything about their struggles, their dreams, and their incredible spirit. So let's set the scene. Or in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, way back in 1912. You got to picture a world of tenements, of immigrant families, all just trying to make it, to get by. And for our family, the Nolans, this day, well, it's a huge turning point. And this really gets to the heart of the whole story, doesn't it? It's the central question. How do you possibly build a home when you're starting from scratch, with almost no money to your name? It's obviously not just about the furniture or the four walls. It's got to be something so much deeper than that. Okay, so first things first, why are they even moving? Well, this wasn't some happy choice. This move was born out of pure necessity, a little bit of shame, and one woman's absolute iron will to keep her family from going under. The thing that kicks this all off is what the story calls Johnny's great spree. Now, for his wife, Katie, the shame from this is just unbearable. She's determined that her family is going to be better, more respectable than their neighbors. But, even more urgent than that, they have 2 kids, no money, and they simply cannot afford the rent. And this, right here, is where it all comes to a head. Johnny's pride is completely wounded. He says, "I won't have my wife a janitress." But Katie's reply is just so brutally practical, delivered in what the book calls her new crisp, hard way. For her, the choice is simple. It's either she becomes a janitor for free rent, or they have no home at all. And in this fight, you can bet that pragmatism wins. So the decision is made, and now the actual physical moving begins. And as they start packing up everything they own, well, you get this incredibly vivid picture of just how poor they really are. Get this, their possessions are so few, they all fit on the local iceman's wagon. That's it. And look at what they have. You see the basics, the things for survival, but then you see these other things, Johnny's sheet music, a canary in a fancy-looking cage, and most importantly, those 2 books. Even in all this hardship, these things are symbols of their dreams, their belief in art, in beauty, in knowledge for their kids. After their apartment is completely empty, Katie goes to their makeshift bank. It's just a tin can nailed to the floor, and rips it up. And this is the grand total of everything they've saved. $3.80. That's the whole nest egg, every single penny they've managed to scrape together. And just like that, $1 is gone. Katie has to pay the Iceman for helping them move. And this moment just perfectly shows you their financial reality. One small, necessary expense wipes out more than a quarter of their entire life savings in a heartbeat. So this is so important. Before she even thinks about unpacking a single box or putting up a curtain, what is the very first thing Katie does in their new place? She nails that tin can bank right back down in a closet and puts the $2.80 inside. She is literally reestablishing their financial foundation, no matter how tiny it is. It's just such a powerful statement of her priorities. Okay, and now we get to what is really the emotional heart of this entire moving day. It's a small, kind of beautiful moment that shows you exactly how this family finds grace, even in the middle of all their struggles. So just as they're getting settled, the children's grandmother, Mary Romley, shows up. And she starts performing this traditional ritual, sprinkling holy water around the rooms. For a Catholic family, this was a way of purifying the space, making it sacred and driving out any bad spirits. So as her grandmother holds up the little glass bottle of holy water, the sun catches it just right and creates this tiny rainbow on the wall. And baby Frances is just fascinated by it. She thinks that beautiful color is trapped inside the bottle. So she grabs it and pours all the water out on herself, hoping that rainbow will come sliding out. Katie sees that her daughter is all wet and starts to give her a little soft spanking, but the grandmother steps in with this incredibly wise, gentle line. She completely refrains what just happened. She says, it wasn't a mistake. The child was just blessing herself. And with those words, all the tension just breaks. Katie starts to laugh. Francie laughs. The whole family is laughing. The grandmother says it's good luck to start a new home with laughter. So what could have been a moment of anger is totally transformed into this beautiful moment of connection and joy. So, all right, the furniture's in, the devils have been chased out. So how does Katie actually start to build their new life? Well, she does it through these really deliberate, almost strategic rituals. I mean, just look at this breakdown. It is a masterclass in how to survive. First, she secured their shelter, right? She took that janitor job. Next, she goes right to the local grocer to set up credit, basically a little book of debt that guarantees they'll have food until Johnny gets paid. And then finally, she nurtures their future. And this is how she does it. Every single night, without fail, she reads to her children, one page from the Bible and one page from Shakespeare. And the book makes a point to say that nobody, not even Katie, really understands all the words yet. But that's not the point, is it? The ritual, the act of doing it, is an investment in the future she wants for them, a future with education, with opportunity. And so the day finally winds down, a day of just immense change, so much hard work, and all these little quiet victories. By 8 o'clock, they are all just completely wiped out and in bed. You know, it's that simple, profound kind of exhaustion you only get after a day you've spent literally carrying your entire life from one place to another. And the chapter ends on this beautifully simple sentence. The Nolans slept in their new home on Lorimer Street. After all the chaos, all the uncertainty and struggle, they have a place. They're safe. They are home. And that really leaves us with this final thought, doesn't it? For the Nolans, it was things like nailing a tin can to the floor, sharing a laugh over some spilled water, reading from books they didn't even understand. So it makes you wonder, right? For us, what are those small, maybe even seemingly insignificant things we do that really truly turn a house into a home?